Now I'm at the point you wanna be with me. I'm vibing out at a higher frequency, cause everything that I want and I'm gonna be is when I wake up, that's when I start to dream. Someone you love is talking down, here is the plan. Let it fall through like a handful of sand. Nothing happens overnight, what you must understand. If you dwell on the bad, then you don't stand a chance. Something you want upset, saying why it ain't mine yet. That's because now you have yet to change your mindset. People don't put their mind to rest while they're so wired. A lot of people go to sleep and wake up tired. Power of positivity and persistence. Say that I can, we'll just sit back and witness. Make an impact when our time is done. Make money, help people, and have lots of fun. Whoa.
Welcome to Office Hours, hosted by legendary sports executive, entrepreneur, and investor David Meltzer, where the brightest entrepreneurial minds in business, sports, and entertainment get together to talk about success, failure, and everything in between.
And that's where success is, in that gray area, finding ways to create innovation.
While you're feeling the sting of your setback, God is preparing your comeback.
Take a deep dive into the mind of some of the world's most impactful guests.
You know, what would you advise either your younger self or what would you advise to somebody else going through it? And I would very much advise people to go straight into the thing that they know that they want to do.
Action is the antidote to anxiety, right? So what actions can I take over market anxieties and anxiety I have over things I can't control?
To share their strategies and tools to dominate their respective fields.
Whatever it is you're trying to heal from, you can't fully heal from it if you're not all the way in.
It's not how smart you are, it's how are you smart. And when you understand your brain type, it also, that self-awareness is a superpower, but it also informs how you can relate to other individuals.
No matter what level you think you're at or where others think you are, you got to reach up.
David Meltzer hosts Office Hours.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are we doing? I'm doing fantastic, and I could not be more excited to kick off today's training. Happy Friday, everybody. We are here not only live on Clubhouse, but of course here with the webinar as well. Welcome to David Meltzer's Power Hour and Free Friday training. As he mentioned, today's topic is going to be the quantum mind training. So for the first 30 minutes, David is going to empower us with some incredible lessons, knowledge, and of course, insights. And then for the second half hour, we will be taking Q&A. So of course, for people here on Clubhouse, make sure that as you have your questions for David for the second half, that you are using your hand icon in the lower right-hand corner of the screen to request to join the stage. And we will, of course, aim to bring you up. And everybody for here that is joining us on the webinar as well, make sure to aggregate your incredible questions in the chat so we have them ready to rock and roll for the second half. Now, with that said, David is on the move, traveling. Let's see, we have next week, which is going to be in Oregon, speaking to the Oregon Ducks football team. The following week in New York, Atlanta, and Miami. Of course, the following week back in Los Angeles, rounding out the month with, of course, Los Angeles and New York City once again. If you would like to join David in person, get a copy of his book, which he's more than happy to send you a copy, sign a copy, and even pay for shipping. All you need to do is email David directly, david@dmeltzer.com. Once again, just david@dmeltzer.com. And if you would like to also get the reminders for where David is going to be, make sure to join his text community, which is 949-298-2905. Now, with that said, David, I will pass the mic over to you to kick things off and get us rocking and rolling with this incredible Quantum Mind training.
Thank you, Nick, so much. All right, we're rocking and rolling today. What is the quantum mind? Well, understanding it, I like to think of a big my cloud, not an iCloud, but a my cloud. And the my cloud is the mind. It's the omniscient, all-powerful mind that we all are unified with in an abundant, infinite system of thought. So this my cloud is streaming into our individual brains, into these minds that make up this my cloud. And so if you could imagine an all-powerful, omniscient source of information, of inspiration, intuition that is constantly streaming to your brain, then we can start and set forth in a paradigm shift of what are we doing to interfere with that stream? What do we do to buffer that stream? How are we limiting our bandwidth into that stream? What are we doing to short circuit that stream? And so to think of the quantum mind, think of the all-powerful, all-knowing, the everything for everyone, the omniscient infinite loop that is created by a stream on my cloud. And my cloud is streaming to you, and the brain is then utilizing its consciousnesses in order to facilitate some sort of behavior, hopefully aligned with the co-creation, with where you want to be or better. And so the first step in understanding quantum mind, an infinite mind, a unified, abundant system of thought, is the easiest way I can articulate it is it's my cloud. And so all of us are streaming my cloud into our individual perceptions of our conscious, utilizing our subconscious to store that which resonates with us and interpreted by a genetic and energetic inheritance, a quantum being that we all are, a hard drive that through repetition and truth activate the best, most efficient, effective system of utilization of that information from my cloud. And that's what creates this paradigm shift, is the faith and the wisdom of the my cloud and the string of the cloud to understand how much man-made constructive time am I utilizing to buffer, to constrict, or to interfere with, or even hopefully not, but disconnect from my cloud. And so there's three interpreters of the my cloud. And in the conscious, that's the easiest to understand, the obvious and instant to understand, our constant and conscious interpretation of the stream from my cloud of this information, institution, and inspiration. And the interesting thing about the conscious in the realm of our day is that its memory coincides with when we are awake. And so the input of that memory is our own senses, our eyes, our ears, our nose, our mouth, our touch. And so understanding that the short-term input, the short-term memory of the conscious to interpret or to receive the stream requires us to be consistent, because in order for the conscious to interpret and then communicate, it needs repetitive information, repetitive stream. And so in a conscious day, 24 hours in which we're given every single day of our lives, except for the last day, I always say you're going to be cheated the last day of your life, minutes, maybe even hours. But every other day you won't be cheated. You'll be guaranteed that 24 hours. It's important to understand what non-negotiable activities that we have every day. Understanding how the conscious interprets and communicates is so essential to understand maximizing our divine direction in our divine time. And so what we choose to pay attention to consciously and give intention to each day that we do, say, think, feel, and believe each day gives us a higher statistical success in communicating and interpreting that alignment with where we want to be or better by learning. And the only way that it learns, as I said before, the only way that it can learn is day by day, because the conscious memory, the conscious inputs that are created by attention and intention of the senses of saying, feeling, believing the same exact thing every single day, allows us to maximize the potential of our conscious mind. In the aspect of the stream from the MyCloud, we have to remember, remind, and recollect that we are always connected to and through this conscious stream. So the easiest and most apparent way is to understand what we're doing to interfere with that stream consciously. And so when we utilize the activities we have planned, unplanned, sleep, the activities we get for an unpaid, and understand what are we doing to interfere with our divine direction, our divine time, with where we want to be or better, we start to realize that it's fear that interferes with where we want to be or better. It's fear that interferes with MyCloud, with the constant, omniscient, all-powerful stream of everything for everyone. And so when we interpret what we're doing to interfere with it, it's much easier than trying to understand the stream itself, because the stream is constant. It's a quantum mind that is streaming from the MyCloud. And so what we want to do to maximize the daily input that needs to be repetitive in its nature in order for the conscious to interpret and communicate with the rest of us, the subconscious and our unconscious being, we have to then understand that fear is the interference, but fear is difficult to interpret and difficult to be aware of, because fear comes from not only our biochemical and bioanatomical makeup, but it comes from a genetic and energetic inheritance that is not only from generations past, but it could be, if you believe like me in the best option that there's more than one life, it could come from millions of lifetimes. And so in order, once again, to be pragmatic in the facilitation of utilizing our 24 hours in a divine direction of where we want to be or better, in divine time, maximizing the acceleration, aggregation, and compounding effect that only can be created by what we do every day. You see, 90% of the outcomes in our life that is in that divine direction or divine time are from what we do every day, admit to every day. Only 10% of our outcomes are interpreted by what we don't do every day. And so understanding the stream, the inherent stream, MyCloud, the quantum mind, is important to make sure that we're in control of the inputs of what we do, say, think, feel, and believe. So what we want to do is spend the minimum amount of constructive time in the reaction to fear. Negative behavior. Negative behavior is behavior that interferes with our divine direction or divine time. Good behavior is aligned with our divine direction and divine time of where we want to be or better, not where other people want us to be, not what's missing, not what we don't have. And so in order to understand not only the power of MyCloud and the power of the stream and the power of the quantum, the exponentiality, it all starts the conscious by understanding how do we limit the amount of man-made constructive time that we're spending interfering with our divine direction or divine time, by identifying not the fears that are hard to interpret and be aware of, but actually the instant and the obvious, our reactions to fear that we may or may not understand. Some of the fears we have are extremely obvious. If you look over a 200-story building, you may instantly be afraid and understand that you're afraid of falling. But most of the time, you're just aware of the instant and obvious reaction to fear of anxiety or of separateness or inferiority, superiority, need to be right, offended, separate, guilty, resentful, any of these, angry, worried, whatever it may be. And so in order to shorten the distance of resistance, in order to shorten the distance of interference, we need to interpret not the fear, but the reaction to fear, spend less time in that to have more time in the good trajectory or behavior, and minimize the bad thoughts, words, actions, feelings, etc. And so we are part of an infinite abundant system that's created. I call it the My Cloud, and the My Cloud is streaming into the conscious, and that conscious then can interpret and communicate with the rest of us, with our quantum being through the subconscious repetitive automatic system that we have, and of course our quantum being our genetics, our energetics, our DNA, hard code, telling us in activated and deactivated the trajectory of where we want to be, or better divine direction or divine time, making again wisdom so important to learn from the meaning of past, and faith, which incorporates the truth or hope or love of the future, by understanding the stream and the My Cloud and the limitlessness of our own self-image, which is one with our co-creator. And so as we know, we can only be limited by that meaning or by the self-image. So therefore, wisdom and faith are essential in order to understand how to spend less time in interference with the stream and interference with My Cloud. Now, as the short-term memory that exists in the conscious, the short-term 24-hour memory, people will tell you that it's 21 days in order to create a habit, an automatic system that makes things easier and clears the disc easier. And so what I want you to think about is it takes 21 days not to form a habit. It takes 21 days of repetitive behavior of every single day, non-negotiable behavior, in order to create a neural pathway, not a habit. A neural pathway is limited by how many days that you've created the input into the neural pathway. And two, it's also limited by our quantum, by our unconscious competencies, by our epigenetic layer activating and deactivating our genetics, our energetics, our DNA, our hard code that can last lifetimes. So, for example, if you are an addict and you may have an addiction to X, just because you stop doing X every single day for 21 days does not mean that you have a quantum shift, that you now don't have that addiction. That's why there's things like the 12-step program and other things that require us, in order to facilitate a reassurance and reaffirmation, to start to dissipate, dissolve, and re-engineer our own being, our quantum being, our own genetics, our own energetics, by continually, repetitively communicating with quantum. And so, albeit the conscious mind needs repetitive positive input, good behavior and bad behavior, it's the subconscious mind that becomes automatic. Through the neural pathways that are formed, there's approximately 40,000 of the same behaviors or thoughts or activities that occur every single day in your subconscious mind. They're constantly being supplemented, replaced, synergized with the daily activities, as new neural pathways can take the place of old ones. And unfortunately, we're born, and usually continually through our journey of this lifetime, we have found that not only are the subconscious storage of the 40,000 of the same thoughts, words, beliefs, feelings, etc., but 80% of them that we inherit genetically and energetically are negative. So we're actually working or interfering against ourselves, against the My Cloud, against the stream of the quantum mind. And so we're actually, more successful when we are focused in on our daily activities. And this is why I created the 5 daily practices for you, in order to facilitate the 2 annoying things about self-development and self-improvement, which are 1, being honest with ourselves, super annoying, and 2, being repetitive, even more than super annoying. And so the reason that I created the 5 daily practices are to facilitate the truth and repetitiveness of the divine direction and divine time of where you want to be or better. And by knowing what you want, who you can help, who can help you, how best to get that done, and prioritizing in the idea and realm of the quantum, prioritizing in the activities of the day in the divine time and the divine direction of where you want to be or better, utilizing the conscious, subconscious mind and quantum mind in order to effectuate a better system in order to get you to where you want to be or better. And so those 5 daily practices allow us to apply our why and identify reaction to fear, the instant and obvious reaction to fear, worry, anxiety, depression, etc., anger, and move and roll in the right trajectory, direction more of the time each day, the 24 hours that you're guaranteed every day of your life, except for, of course, the last day of your life. And so as we work through systematically the quantum mind, and we understand how behaviors, good and bad, and what those are attributing to an automatic system of the 40,000 thoughts that are stored in the subconscious mind, we start to realize how important it is to utilize time with the negotiables, with understanding that we have to spend our time in the truth of repetitive behavior, but it doesn't have to be all day because it's so annoying, the truth meaning, and repetitiveness. So if you look at the most important repetitive behavior that most people ignore, I look at sleep. I've had a sleep coach for 17 years. By the way, if you want that 5 daily practices, I'll send it along with my book. Just email me, david@dmeltzer.com, david@dmeltzer.com. I'll send you those 5 daily practices to help facilitate the quantum mind. Okay. Now, if you want to practice applying your why, understanding the quantum mind, the my cloud streaming into these minds, the quantum mind facilitated by the conscious, which is daily, the subconscious, which takes 21 days to form, but then takes daily activity in order to facilitate deepening the neural pathway and communicating with the quantum to change our genetic and energetic inheritance by identifying the instant and obvious reaction to fear. And so as we start to take a quantitative analysis of who we are in a quantum realm, an infinite abundant system of everything for everyone, we start to realize how easy it is to dissipate and dissolve the dis-easy. And so as we work through how the conscious mind inputs things through what we do, say, think, feel, and believe, every day we start to see the importance of sleep, because most people pay no attention to sleep, and yet it's a part of your life. And so understanding how to facilitate the quantum mind, that unlike the other 16 hours a day, sleep can be repetitive with an instant connection to the quantum mind, where we can reinforce the subconscious, but more importantly, communicate directly with the quantum mind, activating, deactivating the energetic and genetic inheritance that best suits us in alignment with the divine direction and the divine time. In other words, where we want to be or better. It'll shorten the distance of resistance. It will close the shortages, voids, and obstacles. It'll heal the mistakes and wounds of our past, all while we sleep. And so, having a mind routine is part of the conscious practice of an everyday routine that facilitates putting ourselves in the best position so that we can not only recover, but receive or access the information from the quantum mind and clear that stream, so we don't either interfere with, or worse, disconnect from the truth and the inspiration, intuition, and information that best suits us, divine action in the divine time, in our conscious hours, approximately 16 to 17 hours a day. And so when 90% of the exponentiality of outcomes occur from what you do every day in the alignment with the divine, in alignment with divine time and direction, you'll realize how important sleep is and how important an unwinding routine in the conscious is. Now, also, pick and choose other non-negotiables like health and family and fitness and finance and faith and relationships of others in our own family, as well as studying time and studying other things like quantum minds to be more interested than interesting. You can take up to 3 or 4 extra hours a day to do things that annoy you, meaning to be honest with yourself and to be repetitive. But the good news is that's going to leave somewhere between 10 and 14 hours to do whatever you want that's non-substantial in the outcomes that you desire. So we can do things to fulfill enjoyment. We can do things, but as long as we're consistent every single day and we have no zero effect or interference or dissipation of the quantum mind in the stream of the my cloud that brings in the intelligence, intuition, and inspiration that provides the exponentiality of the outcomes that we want in divine direction and divine time, we start to see how important not only the conscious is, but the daily habits that we have non-negotiable every single day. Most people create too much resistance and distance by thinking that they can go the extra mile every once in a while. Going the extra mile every once in a while just allows you to justify why you're not where you want to be, why you're not in a divine direction or divine time. It allows you, if you go the extra mile every once in a while, to justify why you're not where you want to be. Now, you lower the bar, minimize the amount of time, but are consistent in the conscious continuum by creating activities and utilizing our own dynamic system of quantum mind that allows us to input data every single day, making the non-negotiable daily inputs so important that then facilitate the neural pathways that clear out and substitute and synergize the 40,000 of the intermediate thoughts that we have that are repetitive. But now instead of 80% of them being negative, maybe we break it down to 79, 78, 77, 76, etc. And as the years go by, we are more and more intelligent, intuitive, and inspired. We have cleared the interference between us and the quantum. And our own quantum being, as I mentioned, is called the unconscious. And the unconscious being, what we are, is coded with DNA. And it has a communicative layer of DNA called the epigenetic layer of the DNA that facilitates the interpretation and communication with the subconscious mind, which has its neural pathways that communicate with the conscious mind. And through our senses, we are interpreting and communicating with the subconscious, with the conscious mind. And so this system of interpretation and communication ends with the quantum being that we are, which is timeless. Why is it timeless? Because it's quantum. The unconscious mind is a quantum mind that is part and parcel to the my cloud that streams to us through the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind. If we utilize this continuum, we can see how we can start to facilitate this idea of timelessness, of more than enough of everything for everyone. We can see how wisdom and faith are combining together in order to allow us to do three things. And these three things are aligned with physics, quantum physics, and metaphysics. These three things are the characteristics that tie in physics, quantum physics, and metaphysics. One is that through behavior of information, intelligence, intuition, and inspiration that is interpreted and communicated through the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind, that we will aggregate them together, a compound effect. And then two, it will accelerate because it works in the realm of timelessness, not into a quantitative 24 hours a day that you're guaranteed every day of your life except for the last day. And then finally, it will have that exponentiality through those non-negotiable behaviors that you do every day. 2 minutes a day in the non-negotiable, 2 minutes a day in the quantum of repetitiveness without missing a day is worth more than 2 hours a Saturday. I went the extra mile. I ran 2 hours on a Saturday. Well, good. You now can justify why you're not where you want to be, compared to somebody running 20 minutes or facilitating cardiovascular activities 20 minutes a day. Utilizing the five senses to understand attention, we're going to pay attention to the non-negotiables, give it our intention, which is going to clear the dizzy reaction, the instant and obvious reaction to her, by doing, saying, thinking, feeling, believing, aligned with divine time and divine direction. That way, all of our meanings of the lessons of the past will be aligned with that divine time and divine direction, as well as we will expand our own image, understanding that we are part and parcel of more than enough of everything for everyone, an omniscient, all-powerful system of thought that protects, promotes, and loves us more than our mom. But we can't do this unless we understand the quantum mind itself. If we think somehow our efforts are going to go get more that there's a transaction, a trade, that there's just enough or not enough, we are going to cheat ourselves of the omniscient and all-powerful. Without the wisdom and faith, we'll end up in the same place that we always have been, with just blame, shame, and justification. Understand the quantum mind is understanding timelessness and relativity of today. We live in the conscious. We live in a man-made construct and share 24 hours. Time is the dependent variable of the quantum mind. Infinite time and man-made constructive time are the dependent variable of the quantum mind. So we need to put things in the realm of time, whether it be in the conscious time, the subconscious time, or the quantum time, or the quantum mind. And understanding how can we be ferocious with the 24 hours that we're guaranteed every single day by having non-negotiables, repetitive behavior, and truthful behavior aligned with divine time and divine direction, comparatively to the 10 or 14 hours to do whatever we want with the other conscious time that we have. Notating that what we do every day will determine exponentially who our quantum being and our connection to the quantum mind is, comparatively to the other 10 to 14 hours of sporadic behavior, which will only create approximately 10% of the outcomes, where the 90% of the quantum outcomes, the exponential, aggregating, accelerating outcomes, are created by repetitive, truthful behavior in alignment with divine time and divine direction. Think about my cloud every day. Think about how the conscious mind works, giving its power to, within 21 days of truthful and repetitive, annoying behavior, creating and starting a neural pathway that is only supported by repetitive behavior in the future, and our own limitations that are created by our quantum being, our genetics and energetic inheritance, our code. And so as we work through the quantum mind, let's make sure that we pay attention to what we want consciously, so it interpreted and communicates with the subconscious, and keep it truthful and honest the best that we can by clearing the reaction of fear, the instant and obvious reaction of fear, to dissipate the resistance, and then allow ourselves to shift our genetics, shift our energetics, shift our quantum being within the context of an unlimited, abundant, omniscient, all-powerful, infinite system of thought we belong to. If you want to make a lot of money consciously, if you want to help a lot of people consciously, and you want to have a lot of fun constantly, then understand the My Cloud, understand the stream, understand I am. I am happy, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am worthy. What am I doing to interfere with my stream? That is the quantum mind at a high level. If anybody wants the exercise of the quantum mind, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Happy to send that along with my book, david@dmeltzer.com. If you'd like the 5 daily practices in order to incorporate the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious continuum, go ahead. Again, those 5 daily practices with the book, The Quantum Mind Guide, david@dmeltzer.com. I will pay for shipping the book, the exercises, the guides. All of it will be free. Please join me every Friday. Now it's my favorite time. We will be taking questions. So nick of time, if you don't mind, let's reset the room. Let's also coordinate our travel schedule with this beautiful bunch of people. We've been doing this for over 24 years. Over 100,000 people are registered throughout all the platforms, and millions will watch and replay the views and the cut-ups, etc. So please, everyone, join us. We'd love to see you there and on the road. Nick of time, reset the room, please.
Always a pleasure and honor, and all I can say is wow. I am going to have to listen back to this one a few times over to make sure that not only I capture all of those incredible lessons, but most certainly capture what resonates with me. So thank you so much, David, for an incredible training. Doing a quick reset of the room here. Happy Friday, everybody. Just past halftime. And of course, we are here in the Breakfast with Champions, the best room and community in Clubhouse for David Meltzer's Power Hour. Now, with that said, as David mentioned, not only to get the guide from today's training,
but also to get a copy of his book, which he's more than happy to send a copy, sign a copy, of course, pay for shipping, but also to join David on the road, which includes next week in Oregon, speaking to the Oregon Ducks football team, the following week in New York, in Atlanta, and of course in Miami, the following week in Orange County and Los Angeles, before rounding out the month back in Los Angeles as well as New York City. All you have to do is email David directly, david@dmeltzer.com. Once again, that's just david@dmeltzer.com. And if you would like the reminders as to where it's going to be, especially with that crazy travel schedule, which trust me.
And Nick, who are we going to be with, right? It's not, people may get bored with me, but there's some extraordinary people. There's A-Rod and Goggins and Gary V and Danny Fleischman and just so many different people that we're going to be with, the Darren Princes and the Lisas and the unbelievable Bucky O'Neill, who's hosted this with us as well. There's so many other people beyond me. So it's the neighborhood that we want you to join and the amazing people in that neighborhood. So make sure you join us on the road. We're going to have some extraordinary friends and special guests as we culminate into the YouTube theater when Dane Cook and I are doing the collab effect at the YouTube theater with some big special guests again. But if you love those guys and women, come and join us. Tim Story, John Gordon, Goggins, and Gary, of course, Vaynerchuk. There's just so many of people that I don't want it to be about come see me, come see us, come join our neighborhood. Our frequencies, our neighborhood. All right, Nick, let's go ahead. David email, by the way, we also, if you want to follow us, where we're going to be, have an alerting system of where we're going to be, 949-298-2905. All right, enough commercials, enough giving away stuff for free. Nick, let's answer some questions.
Absolutely. We got the one and only Dave Berlin, who is ready to rock and roll here on Clubhouse. So, Dave, happy Friday. It's great to see you. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask David your question. Welcome.
Good morning, Nick. Thanks so much for the intro. David, good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
Very timely conversation, as it seems like it always is. The universe is always right on time. When you talk about the quantum and all of the power behind the here and now, one of the book clubs that I've been running, we read Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and rolled right into Becoming Supernatural. And it's been a very fascinating year so far. My question comes from, what do you do when, there's so much guilt and shame that is shaped who I am, when that surfaces back up in the form of rejection, be it personal or professional, or sometimes in a fascinating city like Las Vegas, all in the same day. How do you mitigate when some of those powerful energies start to really come up and come up strong?
I love it. Well, thank you very much, David. And thank you as well for showing up, because I certainly appreciate it. And I always tell myself I give meaning to everything I see. So when people give me questions or I ask questions, I give them the meaning of suggestions. When people see and give meaning of rejection, I give meaning of protection. And so within the context of giving meaning to everything I see and putting things into a meaning of suggestion, not question, putting things into the meaning of protection, not rejection, I start to understand where the faith of the my cloud exists, where the faith of the omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing, unified, abundant, infinite loop, the system of thought that creates only an expansion of what I do, say, think, feel, and believe. That which I pay attention to in the meaning that I give it will limit that which I can achieve in the divine direction and divine time. So too many people are giving meanings to the questions that are judgment, condition, and separation, not suggestions. And they're giving meaning to rejection, not in the context of being protected or protection. So as things turn out as I don't want them to, as things unravel in an unanticipated time or direction, I say to myself, there is something bigger than me that loves me, protects me, and promotes me at all time. I am not capable in the conscious realm. I am not capable of understanding why this seems to be a question, not a suggestion, or why this seems to be a rejection, not a protection. And so I seek the wisdom. I let go of time. I embrace the divine. And I understand now through my faith that I will someday understand and know how what appears to others as rejection has a meaning of protection. What appears to others of question of my judgment, condition, or character is just a suggestion. And under the context of that wisdom, I can incorporate my faith of the promotion, of the protection, of the love in which the quantum mind, the infinite, abundant, unified system which I belong to, which does and is bigger than my mom, protects, loves, and promotes me. So it's all in the accountability of the information of what we see. And when I say that, the accountability says to me, what did I do to be responsible? What did I do to attract this to myself? What did I do to participate in this perception of punishment and rejection? And what am I supposed to learn from it? Because when I learn, I re-solve it. When I learn, I come to re-solution. Now, if the solving and the solution didn't exist, it wouldn't be called re-solving. It would just be called solving. And if the solution was not omnipresent and omniscient and all-powerful to protect, promote, and love you, they wouldn't call it a re-solution to the matter. They would just call it a solution to the matter. So resolve and resolution are proof of the reconciliation of the wisdom and faith that's necessary in order to facilitate the responsibility, the attraction, and the perception of the meaning in which we give what you see as rejection into protection. Does that sound fair, my dear brother David?
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You got it, man. I'll see you soon. Keep up the great work there in Las Vegas, running the Entrepreneur Week, building the entrepreneurs of Vegas, which is turning into the next Silicon Valley. I don't know what they're going to call it, Sin City Valley or whatever they call it, Sports Valley. But, man, I love being there. Love visiting there now. There's so much more positivity and proactive, productive behavior in that city. There's a collective entrepreneurial spirit growing as the years have passed from Tony Hsieh, and Steve Wynn and other great, Sheldon Adelson, Bill Richardson, some extraordinary entrepreneurs have built what that city was meant to be, an entrepreneurial mecca, not an interfering place of immorality. Anyway, D, enough about Vegas. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, buddy.
You got it, man.
Beautiful. Let's keep this train rocking and rolling here live on Clubhouse with another question. I will go ahead and pass the mic over to Colleen. Happy Friday, Colleen. Great to see you as always. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask David your question. Welcome.
Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
Dave, one of the things that you do best, I think, is really giving these lessons in a way that a lot of people can understand it. Quantum energy is not an easy thing to understand. How do you utilize your understanding of the quantum, not only in a pragmatic way, but really using it in a way you're able to help build your brand or build your community?
Yeah, I think understanding three things help with a framework or pragmatic practice or a numerization of step-by-step procedures in which to elevate an awareness to hyper-complex studies and research that over the years, repetitively and consistently I've been doing. And so what I do is break down into three buckets in order to articulate the quantitative understanding of the quantum. And so when I can put things in the realm of time, 24 hours, or in the realm of a spatial relationship or relativity of any relationship of quantitative things that people understand, I can facilitate the 3 buckets of understanding. So one, what are the skills involved with the understanding of the quantum mind, with timelessness, with a variety of metaphysical, the laws of attraction, other things that other people maybe mystify. So just simply, what are the skills that are necessary? That's why I have like 5 daily practices, or 4 values, or the 4 execution model, or 3 things to scale a business. Those are all listing out the skills that are necessary to articulate or to execute on something that's hyper complex and obtuse. The second one is knowledge. And this one is obvious to most people, but I incorporate being able to articulate that knowledge to a frequency that best represents what resonates with me. And that which resonates at a certain frequency, people can only be aware of that which resonates equal to or less than their own awareness, their own frequency, their own vibration. So what I try to do is, through these practices, elevate people's frequency or vibration in order to facilitate understanding the different epidermic layers of vibration, or epidermic layers of awareness, or understanding how to peel away. So when I'm speaking in layered frequency of my own explanation or articulation of skills, and my own explanation or articulation of knowledge of what I know and who I know. And by doing so, I love people. It happened earlier. One of the people that work for me, I said the first time, okay, do you understand what I just said? Yeah, I do. Okay, then repeat it to me. And she didn't understand it. And I know that, not because that person is incompetent or not intelligent, but simply that the understanding and awareness that occurs on the first run, on the first lap, is not nearly the layer of vibration or frequency that occurs on the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th lap. That I'm talking about being annoying in the articulation of what you're asking, is how do we make it so understandable through the skills that are necessary and the framework that's created by those skills and the knowledge of who and what. And then the last part, and which is the most arbitrary, capricious, and emotional in its nature, is the desire. Can I not only do, say, think and believe things aligned, synergistic, and supplementary to different layers of this epidermis of awareness, 7 layers of the skin. There's at least 7 layers of understanding in each simple and complex explanation of skills and knowledge. But can I resonate in the realm of desire? And so if I can't connect to the emotion, if I can't make people feel a certain way, and I'll tell you, I'm just thinking, I keep on bringing this up. I have to promote this. The greatest interview I've ever done, and I've done thousands, over 5,000 interviews on my own shows, but the greatest interview I've ever done is not with presidents or Deepak or Cameron Diaz or Sadhguru or Brett Favre or Troy Aikman or can't remember all of them, 5,000 of them, John Hennessy, Tillman Fertitta, Dana White, none of them. And all of you, if you want to see the greatest interview I've ever done, it's with John's Crazy Socks. And the reason that it's the greatest interview that I've ever done, not because of the skills that John's Crazy Socks teaches us. It's not because of the knowledge of who and what that John Crazy Socks teaches us. It's the desire. It's the feeling. I've never felt or been able to convey a stronger feeling in any interview I've ever done than John's Crazy Socks. And you will laugh at an intensity that you've never laughed before, and you will cry with an intensity that you will never feel before. I don't care what your favorite movie, I don't care what your favorite interview, who your favorite people are. If you don't watch the John's Crazy Sock interview, you're missing out. I had the head of my media. I did the interview while my son was at the Kingdom, TaylorMade, and I almost didn't do it. I almost said, Mike Diamond and Michael Unbroken are there as co-host in my show today, and I really don't need to do it. Who needs to hear from John's Crazy Socks? And something called me. Not people, right? If people call you, you got to depend on people, but something higher called me to be there. And I'm so glad I was, because it was illustrative, Colleen, of how I explain things. Because like Alan said, it's not what I say, it's what you feel that you'll remember. And that is the most intense feeling I've ever had in an interview with John's Crazy Socks. And please, if you're out there, please watch it. I'll send it to you. Email me, david@dmeltzer.com. It'll be posted, I'm sure, and go viral when we get it. It was just a day and a half ago that it was recorded and sent live. But if you want intense laughter and intense tears of joy of being connected to the MyCloud, watch John's Crazy Socks. Skills, knowledge, and desires. That's how we articulate the quantitative so that it resonates with others and hopefully allows them to pay attention to, but more intentional in what they do, say, think, feel, and believe. That's how we do it. Colleen, thanks for the question, and thanks for allowing me to vote John's Crazy Socks interview. All right, have fun. Take care. All right, everyone. Nick, we got about 11 minutes, which is one of my lucky numbers, 111. Make it happen.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Colleen, as well as Dave, for the incredible questions. I will go ahead and pass it over to Brent, who's been patiently waiting. Brent, always great to see you here on Fridays. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask David your question. Well,
happy Friday. Welcome. Thank you, David. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Colleen. And, I appreciate everything. The quantum mind. You've taken a concept that is ridiculously complex, summed it up in a half an hour with your words that were carefully chosen. And oddly enough, I understood the whole damn thing, which is great. However, it leads to my question. Understanding's never been the problem. The problem is implementation, at least personally. And, you talk about two things. You talk about being annoying, repetitive and truthful. Definitely, I've got the truthful thing down. I'm good at it. The repetitiveness, I'm just not. How do we, and I don't think I'm alone here, how do we take all that we know and implement it, simply? I know there's the calendar, there's the 5 daily practices and all that stuff I'm studying, and I'm trying to be hard. But David, any insight on that particular aspect of how to get what we want or better with the quantum mind? Because
yeah. So first of all, lower your expectations of self, that it is the antithesis, counterintuitive, to be repetitive. And so the reason is we think we get it. So, that extra mile thing, that once in a while thing, that one time thing, we think we get it. We don't understand the quantum mind and how the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious interpret and communicate with one another. And so what we need to do is look at the dependent variable in which allows us to have the aggregation, acceleration, and compounding effect, or the exponentiality of the outcomes that we want in divine time and divine direction. And when we do that, we can start picking and choosing minimum amount of time every day that we're going to spend in the quantum, in the repetitive, in the truth. So by giving ourselves a minimum 7 hours a day to sleep every day as a non-negotiable, a prioritized non-negotiable, far before any important meeting you're going to take, far before golf or Netflix or TikTok. And then you take a minimum amount of time with your intimate family, 30 minutes minimum with your wife, or 30 minutes minimum with your 14-year-old, or minimum 2 minutes with your teenagers, or minimum of 1 minute with your mom, just to tell her happy, healthy, love, and appreciate, or whatever it may be. A minimum of 10 minutes to study time, a minimum of 10 minutes to check your accounts, finance, a minimum of 10 minutes to stay connected to the other people that are relative to you in your life, whatever it may be. And that all adds up to maybe 10 hours a day, including your sleep, which leaves you 14 hours to do whatever the heck you want to do inconsistently to align with human nature and the counterproductive, counterintuitive behaviors that aren't consistent, so you don't feel overwhelmed, you don't procrastinate, you don't burn yourself out, because 14 hours of your day is free. It's by prioritized choice of what you want to do according to what's going on that day, the weather, the opportunities, the taxes, the mortgage, whatever it is. And you don't feel stuck and you don't feel resistant, because all you're doing is spending approximately 10 hours, including sleep, in the non-negotiable quantum realm of more than enough of everything for everyone. If you don't understand time, you will not utilize your time, the 24 hours you're given every single day of your life, except for the last day, correctly in order to maximize the quantum mind, the infinite loop, the abundant unified system that will aggregate, accelerate, and compound your life in a divine direction in divine time, infinite time, not the constructive time. People are too attached emotionally to outcomes, and they don't understand quantum mind, quantum time. They don't understand. They don't have faith. You have the truth down? Yes, partially. We still need to do it by warfare with the truth. Everybody is a liar. Everybody on earth is a liar. It's how much time are you spending lying each day? Every person here is a liar, unintentionally or intentionally. Everyone here manipulates, cheats, steals, unintentionally or intentionally. It's just a varying degree of where you're at and how much time you're spending in that interfering mindset. And so what I want you to do, Brent, is I want you to allow time and commit to a minimum amount of time every day on what's most important to you and make it non-negotiable. And leave yourself 14, 15, even 16 hours a day of awake time to do whatever you want. But I will tell you that 90% of the exponentiality of the outcomes that you want in divine time and divine direction will only occur from what you do every single day, 7 days a week. The other stuff is basically irrelevant. It's just for the enjoyment of your journey, for the entertainment of your soul. And so when we can pragmatically look at these things, we can then be inspired to utilize the counterintuitive behavior, which is consistent behavior and truthful behavior. Remember, behavior, good behavior, is only that which is aligned with where you want to be or better. The bad behavior is that which interferes with it. All right. Hopefully that helps you. Let's work within the context of that 24 hours, Brent. Let's try our best to have non-negotiables. It's very difficult. I tell people, saying thank you is one of my non-negotiables. It takes 0.1 seconds. It's free, but it took me 9 months before I could do it for 30 straight days without missing a day, until it became part of the stream, the quantum mind, in which today I do not miss a day without being grateful, finding the light, the love, and the lessons in everything I do, situations, events, and people that I have. Amazing. All right, Nick of Time. That was our boy Brent. Thank you, brother, so much. I look to seeing you in New York. We'll be there May 13th for a VIP dinner and May 14th for our holding court meetup. Well, love to see you in New York as always. It's such a joy. We'll be all over the country, as you know, Oregon, New York. We'll be in Atlanta. We will be at Aspire in having a VIP dinner there. We got amazing people at Aspire. If you're not attending, you're missing out on some. I haven't seen A-Rod in a while. Goggins, Gary V, Tim Story, John Gordon, just to name a few. Danny Fleischman, my boy, who I've known since he was 19. All right, Nick of Time, Newport Beach, SoFi Stadium, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Go ahead, email me, david@dmeltzer.com. All right, Nick, who's up next?
Absolutely. For the last question of the day, I'll go ahead and pass it over to Serafina. Serafina, good to see you here. Happy Friday. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask David your question. Welcome.
Hello, happy Friday. So my question is, how important is it to focus on how you talk to yourself in relation to your subconscious mind? Because you do that all the time. You, instead of saying busy, you say active, or when you say something negative, you cancel it out. So how important is it to practice self-talk, and what are ways that we can practice and develop that to enhance our lives?
I love that question, Serafina, and thank you so much for bringing it up. It is, my own belief, my own feeling, my own thought, my own words, and my own actions in the respect of negativity in general. That we are in the quantum, what we are inputting consciously, what are we reinforcing and creating and synergizing and supplementing and re-engineering subconsciously, and shifting unconsciously in the quantum through the epigenetic layer, the activations and deactivations of our DNA. In that respect, everything, not just what we say, think, feel, do, and believe, every single thing has to be determined as being aligned with our divine direction and divine time or interfering with it. This paradigm shift is essential to canceling, clearing, and connecting to the inspiration, the quantum mind. It is the essence of understanding the paradigm shift of what am I doing to interfere with who I am. Adonai, I am, all that is, abundant, omniscient, all powerful, all of it. At its core, it's not just what we think, it's what we say, do, feel, and believe. And if we can continue to evaluate, prioritize that which is aligned with where we want to be or better in divine time and divine direction compared to the negative of that which interferes with it, and then cancel it from our conscious, clear it in our subconscious, and connect to the quantum, oh my goodness, the aggregation, acceleration, and compounding effect will be exponential in its nature. We will live a life of abundance, of more than enough of everything for everyone. We will live in the infinite, abundant, omniscient, all-powerful, unified system that was created for all of us as the same and appreciative of the differences, which makes us the same. Unbelievable, Serafina. Stay positive. Find out what you're doing to interfere with it. We can all expand alongside an expansive universe of more than enough of everything for everyone. You are not a victim, so stop feeling like one. There's not time to just, for me, buying things you don't need to impress people you don't like. Live in that realm. Get the 5 daily practices. Get my exercise, the Quantum Guy. Email me. Follow me around. I don't care. Come and visit me, david@dmeltzer.com. I'll sign a book, send it to you, pay for shipping and the book. I know I saw in the notes there was Sean Hooker. He didn't get his book. Mike, Justin, he didn't get his book. He said he'd love to read it. It is what it is. Oh, it's not. We got to get him the book. I don't know what happened. We got the wrong email, the wrong address. If that has happened to you, please reach out to me directly, david@dmeltzer.com. We're not hiding the books. We are sending them, paying for shipping and the books, but we are human, and it seems like our systems fail a few people. So please, Sean, reach back out. It is not what it is. We would love for you to read it. All right, Nick, close out the room. I went 1 minute over. I appreciate everyone and everything. david@dmeltzer.com. Be more interested than interesting. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. We'll see you here. Thank you, everyone. This was the Quantum Mind Training. Check out John Crazy interview. Come and join us. We will be in Oregon, New York. Amazing people there. Angela Pizzo's joining us. Atlanta, incredible people. Miami, A-Rod and Goggins and Gary V. It's going to be amazing. Newport Beach and SoFi Stadium Mastermind. And again, back to New York City. We just are confirming July 19th at YouTube Theater with Dane Cook and myself and many special guests. So we'll be giving you information on that pre-sale. Come and see us at the YouTube Theater. We are rocking and rolling. This is Friday training. If you want those guides, david@dmeltzer.com. Be more interesting. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. See you later. Thanks.